Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at Invincible Toys Fist Trooper. Now, the line is called Fist. This is just the Trooper. It is by Invincible Toys, and this is one of the first, I believe, this first 6-inch action figure that is made in Colombia. So, not made in China, which is something a lot of people wish they didn't have to do. This guy really strived to find another place that could do it. So it makes me really interested to see what these are like. And I know there have been some that have been popping up on the internet. Some reviews have been popping up on the internet because the Kickstarter, I think, finally went out. I know Bobby B had a review on one of the figures. I picked this one up at Joe Fest, and they are up for pre-order on BBTS. So we're going to open this up. We're going to take a look at it, see if it's a good enough figure. I mean, it seems silly that we can't make figures in the USA or in Canada or anything like that, that they're all made in China, but it's because they already have everything dialed. But this guy really wanted to make these not in China. He found a factory in Colombia, and so that is what you're going to get. So here it is, just regular Trooper. On the side, this is their boss. This QR code, if you want to pause it, should take you to, I'm assuming, their website. You have the Fist Instagram and Fist International Instagram. Oh, Fist Latin America Instagram, Fist International Instagram. Anyway, and then where we have on the back, we have a little bit about this. And since this is just a Trooper, everything is pretty generic. And there you have the 4 figures that are in the wave. But again, he has a vehicle coming out. He has other figures that are already lined up, and this is not a Kickstarter. These are ready to go. So anyway, let's open this up. You don't want to look at me for too long, but if you like this type of stuff, these small independent companies, I'm trying to pick up at least one of every figure if possible, just to review, see if I like it, give you an idea if it's something you think you should spend your money on. Take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something like this. Now, let's take a look at it. Okay, so what I like to do when it's a brand new figure, a brand new line, something I've never had, I like to open it up, do an unboxing just so you can see exactly how everything is packaged. So I have my trusty razor blade, and then I have my snips just in case I want to, if I need them because there's any type of ties or anything like that. So that is how the figure comes, and it looks like there's a box. Oh, just opens up like so, and you're gonna get looks like a little trading card, a couple trading cards and weapons. So in the back you can see where there's some brick, just give it a little bit more detail. All that type of stuff really does add. So here's the figure, and he literally just comes out. So I'm going to say right away, I don't need to worry about any type of snips for it. And I can open this up and see what is in this. So there's some of the weapons, and then weapons and accessories. They don't really come with much. Now these are only $31, so they're not it's not a high price point. Not for this type of figure, but you also don't get you don't get a lot either. Where Valiverse is obviously giving you a lot more, but they've also been doing it for a little bit longer. So quickly, let's take a look at this. Here's a little card about it, and here it is in English, and I would assume this is Latin America, so Spanish. So there you go. It gives you a little bit of a background. And that's the first part that I lost. And Fist Trooper battle damage. So you can order 3D prints to go with this. I'm wondering if these are free. Download the following QR code and enter the password 1989. Contact for support. All right. So I'm going to grab this little piece. All right. So quickly, we'll take a look at what we have here. Now, I don't believe any of these are real-world weapons. So the first thing we're going to get is some sort of shotgun. My first impression of it is Is it 3D printed? A lot of paint to it, but I almost feel like it's painted in spots. Yeah, I'm not positive. Like, nothing seems solid on this. Where it just like, it looks like they threw silver paint splotched on it, like gridiron does, but gridiron makes sense when I'm seeing it hit. It is straight. It does have a little bit of flex and give to it. The tip, which doesn't look to be the same piece, is black. It does have a port for blast effects. Then we have this piece, and it has another port for blast effects. I'm not really understanding the paint on this. 100% honest. I'm not trying to tear it down, but I really feel like this reminds me of something that you'd get at the Dollar General. All right. Unlike a 3D printed, where this spot here would be hollowed out, it's not like that. It does look like it's some sort of light right here. All right. So it's not a bad looking weapon. Now this one here is very Hasbro flexible. Here we go with the holster that obviously is going to plug in somewhere. It looks like this is for this knife. And so this is perfect here. And what I mean by that is Hasbro, take a look at this. It's not blocky. Has nice little paint to it, and it's just going to slide, I think, right down there. That's for the sheath. Here we got a pistol. Now I think this paint looks better. It's just nice and solid. There's no type of wash on it that just doesn't seem to make sense. So I do like the way the pistol looks. Here's the holster for the pistol. It's got some bullets on the side there, and again, it's just going to plug in. Some sort of pack or radio, again with the weird silver wash that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. Not sure what that is. Maybe bullets. And then we have another pouch. Looks like maybe a med pack of some sort. So that's what we have there. Let's take a look at the figure and see how this thing actually feels. All right. So we'll go over the articulation really quick. So he does turn side to side. He can look up a little bit. He can look down pretty well. Wow, super smooth joints. Super smooth. You have the bicep swivel. Pinless double elbows. You got your wrist that swivel in and out. Oh, stiff. That's stiff over here. That thing is really stiff, like to the point where I don't think it's going to bend. So that almost looks like it is fused. I think I'm going to have to stop it and go heat this up and see if that works. All right, so he has this piece on top, and by looking at it, it has the same thing Valiverse has, which is I call it the belly dance, the diaphragm cut. Rather than having an ab crunch, they can turn side to side. There's Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm going to drop that down here. There's no drop down hips. Yet you can still get the Jean-Claude Van Damme. That really has to do with the side here not being cut. And I'm not a big fan of drop down hips. I've discussed that before. It's just something else to break. Thigh swivel, no issues. Very smooth. Like, that's all real smooth. That's why I'm really surprised. But it feels extremely loose. So there's your boot cut, ankle. And, I mean, yeah. I'd say there's a little bit left to be desired by just the first impression. But let's get this taken care of. I don't know if I'm going to have to cut into it or what. But that thing is definitely not. Like, I can see, look at that. You can see it starting to tear. So I don't think this is Look at that. Now again, don't try and be He-Man. I am trying not to break this, but I've done this type of stuff in reviews for quite some time. But you can tell there is definitely some issues here with that joint. So that's kind of like the first problem that I'm seeing. I think a lot of people could just break this really easily, because I can't get a full turn. So I'm going to heat this up really quick. The legs, as soon as I heat this up, that's why I don't even want to do it. As soon as I heat this up, everything's going to be super loose. You can see how wobbly these legs are. It kind of reminds me of Breaker in the Ram. The Breaker had super wobbly legs. Hasbro's had some, and these ones are extremely loose. I don't think it will prevent him from standing up, but it definitely leaves something to be desired. All right, so let me pause this really quick. I'm going to heat this arm up and see if I can get it to move. Okay, so I just needed to loosen it up, but I do feel like it had, or like it kind of molded it together. It's just how it feels even, but now it is fine. I only heated up the arm. I ran this part under hot water just so it wouldn't get looser, and I do worry that it's going to get looser. So anyway, let's take a look at the design of this, the sculpt of it. So quickly looking at the gas mask, it just has this, I don't understand the paint. It works over here on the helmet, but on the goggles, I don't understand why the lenses would have this speckled on it. The eyes don't, I mean, there's a lot of wear on this in spots. I'm not sure if they would, but the sculpt looks pretty good. Just kind of looking at the ventilation here. Here's where your goggles are, the top of it. All right, so that's not bad. The arms here, I feel like they really need some work. I'm glad they're not like a Valaverse where there's a hangover, but at the same time, and since I just happen to have these sitting right here, you can see the difference. Like, that doesn't look right either. Even the most hardened steroid guy isn't going to get his shoulders to look like this. All right, his deltoids aren't, I mean, they get round, but there wouldn't be this gap right there. So, I mean, it's great so you get real high up like that. He does have a folded up or rolled up shirt here. Look at his plate carrier. Again, all this weird silver speckle. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right, all the way to the back. It's got some pockets up here. Here we can obviously see where everything's going to go. I wouldn't call it camouflage, but it's kind of a camo pattern in some ways, more like a tiger forest. Boots look pretty good. I think that's the amount of wash that you want on him. So what we're going to do is throw, that just plugs in there, no problem. But it's going to be loose and I feel like it's going to continue to fall out. Nice idea trying to use a system like this, but I just don't think it's going to work. It's going to stay there. And then we're going to have the knife over here. And then it looks like we have two spots for a radio. That's supposed to go on there. So that plugs in there. And then whatever this is. It's a weird idea to try and do modular. And is there another spot for this pouch that I am not seeing? Nothing seems to come off. And again, if you're the first time watching this, you know, you get what I'm seeing for the first time. And I'm going to pop this off in a minute. So let's go ahead and throw this flexible gun on him. Let's see how it looks. I can already tell you I'm not a big fan of these guns. They just look, yeah, not a fan of these guns at all. Especially not this one. It actually looks kind of cool, but it really has that. And this is supposed to be in, I think, a different world. So, But I want this to take place in my military army that I have, which is G.I. Joe. All right, so that kind of works there. He's very loose. But what I really want to do is I want to grab some other weapons. So I'm going to pause it. And I want to say I look for some other weapons. You think that I would have more lying around me, in which I don't. All right, so here's my Joe Fest ammo crate. I mean, I can... Yeah, I'm not a fan of that stuff. So here's a Valaverse weapon. See how it looks with a Valaverse weapon. His hands are really, really tight, which isn't a bad thing. So here is the M4. I believe that comes with Desert Rat. And I do like this gun, even though it has a tiny mag. But that actually looks pretty good on him. Here is a 3D printed weapon that somebody sent me. I actually really like these, to be honest. This guy did some really good stuff. That looks good on him. I have to say, once I put like realistic looking weapons that are in a 6-inch scale, I think the guns look really good. And I gotta say, he actually hits a pose, even with this plate carrier on, really well. Better than a lot of the Joes and the Valaverse figures that I've reviewed. So I am a fan of that. There is a lot to be desired here. There's a gridiron gun with an arsenal of Pew Pew's suppressor on it. Don't ask, it's a one-of-a-kind, made by yours truly. I don't have any arsenal of Pew Pews, which is absolutely surprising. Here is a Joe gun, a little bit smaller. And I gotta say, this guy gets in a firing position really nice. So I'm not gonna argue, not gonna complain about that at all. All right, so let's pop this off. See how it looks. All right. And here is underneath. Like I said, he has that diaphragm cut that so many people like. He does rock back a little bit. Now, can we pop this head off? Man, I don't know. I don't know if the heads are supposed to pop off, so I really don't want to pressure it if I feel like it's... All right, so there's... That's the ball joint. It does look like it does fit some Joes, maybe some of the older ones, because they want to constantly change the peg right there. And of course, I don't seem to have any heads lying around me. What I do have is this wonderful Valaverse balaclava that I can pop off. You can kind of see. And if this is the same size as, a little loose, all right, which isn't bad. It means it might fit on some of the other Joes. But if you have an extra head sculpt, for $31, this might be something you want to customize. You may have to change the skin tone, but all in all, I mean, it's a decent figure. But there's a lot to be shored up. I can say that for sure. That there's too much in this that... Man, too much in this that I would say that I'm not really thrilled with. I can't really see myself picking up another one. At least not in this iteration. And it's too bad because they're really, they're trying to get out of Colombia. And it's going to take time before everything gets situated. But not awful, but the legs are loose. They're not going to get stiffer as time goes on. They're just going to get looser. And I wanted to pick one up and just see what they're like. And again, I purchased this. So this was not sent to me, so you don't need to worry about me giving a bought and paid for review. All right, so there you go. That is my review of this Fist Trooper. It is the first Fist figure that I picked up from Invincible Toys. It is the only one. And this is why you don't go all in on a line right away, because you got to make sure that they're going to be all 100% good. There's a lot of promise for this, especially coming out of Colombia. That is something nice. Not seeing everything made in China. But in my opinion, it feels a lot like a dollar store figure. Obviously, it has more articulation. It gives you more, but it just doesn't feel up to the standard of a Classified, a Valaverse. Hell, even some of the newer companies that recently came out with like Sparrow Toys and AWOC, or even as much as they didn't care for me that much, Savage Crucibles. But there's a lot of promise in it. And hopefully he will continue to make figures. This is the Patriot Force. They're going to be coming, I think it's Patriot Force, right? They look really good. They're all military, real life military people. So I'm hoping that, yeah. And that's Invincible Toys. So if they're all coming out of Colombia, that's what you have to hope, that they're going to get better with this. The design is hopefully a little bit better. I think they put a lot of design cues into certain things. Like this leg is actually, looks like it's starting to split. Like it's not on properly. So there's some things that I think they need to take away, like all the silver wash. But then I think there's some stuff that they need to go back to the drawing board. Like these shoulders, I just don't think work really well. Although, the way he can fire the weapon along with their plate carrier, which I don't have on him right now, along with this plate carrier, I like it. You can easily get him in a firing position, which you saw. But this is a new company, and it's just something that you kind of have to deal with. So that is my review. I'm not bought and paid for. I don't get stuff sent to me, or I haven't got sent stuff. I haven't gotten stuff sent to me. Not saying that I never will, and if I do, I will definitely be open and honest about it. But this, picked up at Joe Fest. You can go on BBTS, order them right now if you want. It's not an awful figure. It's just not the greatest figure, and I have to be 100% honest in all my reviews, like I always have been. So I'm going to get out of here. If you like this type of stuff, if you like when I give you a one-off of a new company, a new independent company, a new line, something like that, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop something like this. Now I'm going to get out of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to a video right here, and down here will be a playlist of something you're going to enjoy because I make great content. Take care.